Good morning, 4th and 5th graders. How are you? Hope that you're all well. I wanted to make you a video this morning on your packet just to go over about two different problems, maybe three. I just wanted to help you with the first page 1. So if you go to your packet where it says Mixed Decimal Practice, we're just going to look at page 1 because I know you might not be there yet if you're going in order, but for those that are, I definitely wanted to go over this because you will see it at other areas in the packet. So this is a combination of multiplying decimals, dividing decimals, as well as adding and subtracting decimals. So I'm going to go over an addition one, and then I'm going to go over a multiplication one, and I will probably do a long division with decimals in a separate video next. So let's go ahead and start with the adding of decimals, and we'll move to multiplication. Okay, so let's go ahead, we'll just pick the first one. So the first one will go to number 1. So I will let everybody pause the video right now. Go ahead and get your packets and get a piece of paper, a pencil, whatever you need to do to be able to write this down, and we'll go ahead and solve it together. Okay, so I will start with number 1, and it says 345.1 times 0.5. Okay, so I'm going to show you how your paper should look as it's set up. Thumbs up, everybody's okay? All right, now just as we always do in multiplication, in adding, and even in division, we're going to draw our lines to keep our columns nice and clear. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Let me do it this way so that it's straight. So go ahead and make your lines while you're watching this so that we can be doing it together, and then we'll go ahead and start. Okay, so if we are looking here, we have, let's start always with the first guy. That's how we always talk about it, right? The first guy in the ones column. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So you're going to put, just like we do with regular multiplication, our 5 here. Then we'll go ahead and carry that 2 up here with a little circle just so that I know I carried that. Now we're going to go into the 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 2 more is 21, 22. So our 2 is going to go here. We're going to carry that 2 up here, just as we always do. And then we're going to go ahead and do our last column before we start our next row. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 2 more, 16, 17. So we'll go ahead and write that 17 here. And as we start our new row, we're going to do just like we always do, whether there's decimals or not. We're going to do our circle with an X and move to the next number. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these since I've already used them so that I don't confuse myself. So you should do the same, cross them out with your pencil if you're using a pencil and paper. Then this one's pretty easy because the next number is just a 0. So we're going to go 0 times 1 is 0, 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 4 is 0, and then 0 times 3 is that same 0, all the way across. Now from here, as you know, we add up these numbers staying within our columns. 5 plus 0 is 5, 5 plus 0 is 5, 2 plus 0 is 2, 7 plus 0 is 7, and 1 plus 0 is 1. Now, so we have our numbers here, and we went over this before when we're using decimals, but I'm going to review it again. We have to count. We know that there's 2 decimals, but let's see how many numbers are before each decimal. So there's 1 and 2. And that's how we're going to figure out how many times to move to the left to go ahead and add your decimal in the correct place. So there's 1 number and 2 number, which means we'll go 1, 2, and then we give our decimal its new home. So your answer, you can write it in a nice box there, would be 172.55. And I'm going to go ahead and hold this here just so that I don't move too fast or if someone's still writing. And you can always rewatch this video and pause it to go over the steps just in case you forgot where to carry or so on. My best piece of advice that I could give you, which I do in class all the time with this, when we're doing larger numbers and digits, we want to make sure we're making our columns. You guys know I'm very big on that. Make sure you do your columns. Because with all of these numbers, if there's no rows, we can be going in this column, that column, and we want to make sure it's nice and clear. So there you go. You can pause this, write it down. And I am going to go ahead and do one more problem with you. So that was our multiplication with decimals. Now I'm going to go to problem. Let me pick a different problem here. Okay. We'll go with number 9. So everybody go ahead and look at your packet and find number 9, and you can pause the video and write it down with me. So number 9, yep, we'll switch it up and we'll do a subtraction actually. So that's 103.05, and then we're going to subtract 16.9. Okay? So you're probably wondering right now, in case you need a refresher, well, there's not a number here under the 5. The biggest point of solving subtraction with decimals or any kind of problems with decimals is to make sure your decimals are always lined up. If there's an empty space, we'll go ahead and make a 0 just to fill in the space. So now, after you've drawn that 0, your problem should look just like this. Okay? And as you know, we should all be drawing our lines right now just to keep it all in order nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm sure you're doing the same. Now we can go ahead and do our subtraction. Okay, we'll go ahead and start as we always do in our ones column. 5 minus 0 is 5. 0 minus 9, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger for you guys. There we go. So if we have 0 Costco pizzas, you can't take away 9, right? So we'll borrow from our neighbor, borrow from that 3, that becomes a 2, and we'll go ahead and make this 0 a 10 now. Now we can have enough to subtract. So 10 minus 9 is 1. 2 minus 6, we can't do that because that's not going to work out, but we can always go next door. So 2 minus 6, well, the 0 is not going to work, so we'll go again next door. The 1 will definitely work. That becomes a 0, and now this becomes a 10. Now there's enough in that column to borrow so that we can subtract 2 minus 6, which is not working out at the moment. 10 becomes a 9, and the 1 goes there. I'm going to hold this just here for a second so that you could see what we're doing. There we go. And then 12 minus 6 now is 6. 9 minus 1 is 8. And then we have that 0 there. Now I'm going to bring my answer here in a box just so that it's a little more clear. I'm always lining up my decimals. So there's my decimal, and my decimal would be here as well. So the answer would be 86.15. So that's how it looks when it's solved. We've done several of these before together, but just to look at what happened in review, we're boxing our answers so that it's nice and clear. The most important thing is to draw your lines and always have your decimals lined up. When there's this much borrowing, we really need to make sure that we are staying in our columns and that we're keeping our decimals lined up so that we do get the right answer and not a wrong value. Okay, so there you go. I'll let you pause this video and write that down. I look forward to any comments that you have or questions. I'm going to try to go over this packet every single day, different pages or areas that I think that definitely need a review, which is perfectly fine, and I'm here if you have any questions at any time. Hope that you all are doing well. I have also posted videos for our morning circle just so that we're continuing to do our morning circle together. I know our social emotional learning is very fun and it's very important, so do make sure you watch the videos, comment, and I have a question that goes with each of them so that we can chat together and share our thoughts. Okay, take care 4th and 5th grade and stay healthy and safe. Wash those hands. Bye.